Hello and welcome to today's video. Now today we are going to be talking about the San Francisco Shock in the power rankings for the Overwatch League. Now we already know where they're going to be. They're going to be first place. So let me just do that first. There you go. Shock. Up in first place because we already know they are going to be up there. So, anyways, now that we got all that done, let's actually talk about the roster and see the improvements, well, obviously improvements, and changes that they have done. So, after adding Teo very late into the season, and only Striker in 2018, they added Nero and Glister into the roster, which was a shock. Well, mainly Glister, but Nero wasn't really that much of a shock, but I see what I did there. Glister was a pretty big of a shock until we found out that Arns retired again. But it kind of makes sense now because Glister is obviously the Widowmaker, well, Widowmaker specialist and all that. So it's a pretty good, solid DPS roster and possibly one of the scariest I've ever seen. Support, after adding Twilight also very late into the season, and also Violet added in 2018, they added FD God as a replacement to Moth. Oh damn, that's gonna be a very interesting main support. Now, FD God, I think he'll be the only main support it will be. He'll be the only main support in the roster. So he's gonna be playing every single round, every single game, and it has to be consistent. Because the Shock expects results. If they don't win this championship, well, this season, that is basically going to be a pretty shit season, other than the first season, which was kind of just a building block. But we know where the Shock's going to be. The Shock is going to be first place. It just also depends on the other. Actually, no, we kind of already know where the Valiant's also going to be, so I'll add that in later. But so the main support also really great. It's still upgrading, which is amazing. And the tanks haven't really been changed since 2018. Super, we already know he's a super good main tank. We also have Choyoben and Smurf. We already know how great those players are, and all that stuff. Now the more interesting one is going to be the coaches. They did do some changes to the coaches. So they added so they kept Krusty, obviously. I think they promoted Kazaris or Sazaris. I think it's Kazaris, to the assistant coach. But they added Agape, which is very interesting because he was formerly from the London Spitfire, and the only London Spitfire player in that roster is Glister. So, and Agape decided to come back. Well, not really come back, but he decided to join the Shock into his winning team. Will they be better? The coaches, I think, is gonna be kind of a, just a backup. Just a little bit worse than the last season because they also because they got Junkbok left for Houston, and Arachne left for the Guangzhou. It's going to be a very interesting coaching lineup, in my opinion, because I think I want to say they're going to do shit. I just think it's definitely going to be worse than last season, in my opinion. I just think that Krusty probably has a more of a job to do than he did last season, because I feel like Junkbuck and Arachne definitely helped Krusty, and now that they both have left, they have Sazares, who's a really good strategic and analyst, but Agape, that's going to be a very interesting coach for the Shock to really deal with. But we get this. Well, we'll see how they go. But I definitely do have. I definitely have high hopes for this team, and they're definitely going to be. And they are definitely going to win this season, obviously. The other changes there. So the first match will be up against the Gladiators, just like I said in my video about the Gladiators. That's gonna be their first match. Then they are gonna be versing Houston. Oh damn, Houston is gonna be fucked. But I have nothing else really to say about the Shock. Like, we already know how great the Shock's gonna be. We already know that they're being kept upgrading and kept getting better each season by. Like season 2, we thought that was going to, like, it was definitely like we already knew that, like, that they were really, really good. We just weren't expecting them to be that good. Then season 3 they fucking dominated it, and season 4 they are also going to be even more dominant like they did. Well, sorry, like they were last season. Then I was like with COVID, uh, whatever. Yeah. The pandemic still going around. It's still exactly going to be it's still exactly going to be the same. And I think they're going to be definitely playing more of these players, more of these new players like Teo, Nero, Glisto, Twilight, FD God. They are going to be playing them more. One thing I haven't said is who's going to be started, and that's going to be the toughest one. So I think, first of all, I think Striker is going to be starting up for DPS. Now it's going to be up against either Nero or Tayo who's going to be joining him. All those two players are great, great players. But I think Nero is going to join Striker in the DPS lineup. Just because I think Nero, no offense to Tayo, but I think Nero is better than Tayo. I think Tayo is definitely okay. I think Glisten would be a great replacement for Striker if he's like a rotation, and it's from Tayo to Nero, but it's definitely going to be Striker and Nero coming in as a starting lineup. Then we already know that FD God is going to be in for main support. Violet is going to be for flex support, because we know how nutty that guy is. And for tank, we all know it's probably going to be, it's going to be very tough. It's probably going to be the toughest actually, Super or Smurf. But I think it is most likely going to be maybe Smurf. Just because I just think he just has like a better main tank all around than Super. But Super definitely is the shot caller of the team. Definitely, no disrespect to him. And he will definitely. It will probably just be just like how it was last season, where it was like a constant rotation between Super and Smurf. And obviously, next Troy Oben, we all know how nutty that guy is, and possibly one of the best off tanks in the league, compared to like other than maybe like Fury, Meko. I don't know. That's probably about it. But yeah, it's just. Well, why did I say Meko? Meko's not even in the league currently, but that's going to be a very scary roster full of shock, and they are definitely a contender to win it all again. Definitely, there are obviously some other teams which will definitely come close, or even add the shock, but it's going to be very, very tough for them. So that is it for me now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I think next up it is going to be I don't know who's next. It is Hangzhou Spark. So Hangzhou Spark's gonna be next. And yeah, so that's it for me now. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Catch you guys on next time. In the next one, goodbye.